Well, summer vacation's upon us, and that means graduation speeches. And this one's a special one because, well, as the title says, valedictorian with non-speaking autism. Yeah, I guess that's a fine. Delivers historic commitment speech. How so? Well, this young lady entering the new stage of her life actually did something pretty cool. And hopefully it did not mimic Stephen Hawking in any way, shape, or form. Because it probably would have been very hard to listen to. I don't know how anyone actually listened to a Stephen Hawking speech with that robotic voice. Like, he intentionally left it that way. Just, I don't get it. Whatever. In May, valedictorian Elizabeth Bonker broke the mold of traditional commencement speaker at her graduation from Rollins College, a private liberal arts institute in Winter Park, Florida. Bonker, who is affected by non-speaking autism. I mean, so this is the first time I've ever seen it like that. I mean, I don't know why they didn't just go with nonverbal, but all right, whatever. Delivers her address through a keyboard-using text-to-speech program, her sole form of communication. And this is actually really cool what the program she has. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. Bonker's message focused on the importance of perseverance in face of personal challenges and the acceptance she has received from her peers and mentors. As I prepare to graduate, oh God, I mean, think of it in the Stephen Hawking voice. As I prepare to graduate. I mean, that would be so hard to listen to. That's just me. Okay, as I prepare to graduate, I reflect on the questions I first had when I came to Rollins. Would I fit in? Would people take the time to get to know me despite my slow typing? You'd think you wouldn't be that slow. I mean, I'm terribly slow. Okay, she wrote in a press release through an intermediary. Happily, I have been embraced by my professors and fellow classmates, and I have cherished being treated like every other student. I hope Rollins has also been impacted by my time here in some small way in seeing the potential in students who don't look and sound like everyone else, or those who don't make technically sound. Bonker closed her speech by encouraging her fellow graduates to bring about change in the community through service. God gave you a voice, she said. Use it. With college now behind her, Bonker plans to grow her nonprofit organization, Communication for All, which provides communication resources to other individuals with non-speaking autism. An estimated 40% of the people diagnosed with autism are nonverbal. It's like, why didn't they just call whatever? I'm beating a dead horse. I don't know. According to the nonprofit association, Autism Speaks, which that's the only bummer. But yeah, she has a pretty cool organization that helps support with that. Actually, it was really cool because like growing up in middle school, it was an early text-to-speech programs that we got to use because I mean I was god awful with typing and it would drive me up the wall. It made it really hard to get my schoolwork done. We used Dragon, I think it was called. A very, very early text-to-speech, but I mean, you could literally voice communicate. Every. You could even do any punctuations. Like now, you could do that with Siri. I mean, see, I was 7th grade, so I mean, we're talking. What was I? 13, 14? So I mean, yeah, we're talking about. I'm like, God, I'm getting old. We're talking like 17 years ago. Jesus. Okay. So yeah, I mean. So that's really cool. All right. Moving on with the show. Okay, this one's a Forbes article. And this is a nice, really positive spin on it because, I mean, this is what I talk about. Like, I wish there was a program that, like, it was, so, like, there are recruiters out there. Recruiting is a job. I just wish that there was recruiters that specialize as, like, agents for autistic individuals that could get them the job. Like, forget the interview. Interviews are old school. It's like if you got someone you know can do the job, get that person. And I really like this person's name, Jennifer J. Palumbo, contributor. Like that is an awesome last name. CEO of Wonder Woman writer and mom of 2 boys, 1 with autism. So, no, I'm not going to follow. How autistic individuals can offer special skills to your business. And I'm curious too. If she has any if she has any hands-on investment in doing the hiring process herself to hire individuals. I'm very curious. Okay, anyway, approximately 2/3 of autistic individuals are looking for a job. Autistic people tend to have lower employment rates, and the pandemic has only exacerbated the issue. The unemployment rate for people with a disability is almost twice the national average. Today, more than 80% of autistic people are unemployed or are in low skill level role that doesn't fully leverage their talent. So I mean, I think like genuine, like if they're still like considering, because I think like literally the unemployment rate, like straight up unemployment, is about 65-ish%. I wish I had that up for me, and so that would mean still like 15% was like just straight up low level. I mean, I don't know how we consider my job as a mobile dog groomer low level or not, but it's definitely a skill. It's a trade, and I'm very fortunate to have it. And God, I almost didn't. Okay, says David Friedman, founder and CEO of Autonomy Works. High unemployment rates significantly impact these individuals' lives and usually result in inadequate financial resources and limited housing or educational options, which is why I'm excited about the next article. Okay, quick peek. Why I'm excited. Boom. How to own a home. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, I lost my spot. Yeah, educational options. These conditions force many autistic adults to rely on government programs or families for basic necessities beyond economic costs. They damage their self-image and sense of purpose, which then also contributes to high suicide rate, among autistic adults. Okay. While not widely known, the autism community is an untapped resource of diverse talent. The real challenge is connecting the many skilled individuals with the proper role. Again, we need a recruiting agency advocacy group for the autistic individuals. Sign up to get on their roster, and then that person just goes business to business, and like, hey, I got a coder. Hey, I got a chef. Hey, I got like this nerdy guy who loves whales, and you should be working at SeaWorld because they can like nerd out all day by teaching people about. Okay, I don't know. I'm going over the top. Okay. Autism hiring programs don't really matter unless there is a cultural shift, explains Andrew Comaro, a financial planner and creator of the Neurodiversity Index. Neurodiversity is part of the diversity. Neurodiversity efforts are not charity. They are good for business. Very true, because if you get that right person. Keep going down. There we go. The interview process presents challenges for autistic adults as they are often evaluated on their did I even say that word right? Evaluated on their ability to answer questions, some of which are random or unexpected, like the worst. Name me a weakness of yours. Like, I hate when my toast gets too burnt, so I'll throw it out and start another one, so I'm wasteful. Like, I don't know I hate that stupid question. Okay. And their ability to engage in casual conversation. I'm not the worst at it. Says Friedman. Unstructured interactions such as these are common struggle for those with autism, and as a result causes them to not be considered for the job before having the opportunity to demonstrate the skill. That is like the problem. It's like, I mean, that is the American education system in general. If you think about it, it's like it's meant to train you to take tests, not to be smart. I think that's fair. We are trained to recognize patterns and make decisions based on pattern matching, as Charlotte Dales, co-founder and CEO of Inclusivity. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Forget it. In hiring, this means the same people get hired over and over. Companies, current technologies filter people out for reasons like having gap in your resume, which, yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of gaps. There's going to be a lot of gaps with, like, think of how many people have gaps in the resumes as it is with COVID and how many people lost jobs. Like, I mean, that's just one of the things that's kind of, like, it's outdated at this point, right? I mean, my mind. But then again, I've only ever had to hire people a couple of times when I was a manager at PetSmart, so I guess what do I know? If you're not being filtered out there, you're being put through an interview process that is the exact same for everyone. Meaning, some people are, I got an itch, are set up for success, but not all people, she says. Forcing all candidates to partake in a panel interview means that candidates who do not perform well in large social settings will not be successful. Companies do not need access to more pipelines. Candidates are already applying for their jobs. Companies need to be able to customize their interview process and working environment so that everyone can be included. And that means like the remote work is perfect for autistic individuals. Because like we're not going to get in trouble and go to HR because we're not going to say the wrong thing in front of people because we're not in front of people. The only time we're going to probably mess up is in a Zoom meeting. But guess what? Just leave yourself muted. Then you have no problems. Right? Autism and the potential it holds. It is essential to understand that being autistic is not good or bad. It's just different. In fact, 44% of individuals with autism have intellectual abilities that are average or above average. I hope I'm above average. Autistic individuals can often recognize their differences and embrace them. There are also ways to leverage their unique talents, especially in the workplace. While some may have learning disabilities, mental health issues, or other concerns, with the right kind of support and training, all can live a fulfilling life of their choosing. This includes pursuing a career. Temple Grandin is a well-known example of autistic individual who found their unique view of the world adventurous. Diagnosed at the age of 4, Dr. Grandin views things visually through pictures and symbols. Visual thinkers are similar to how animals perceive the world. This exceptional talent helped Dr. Grandin become the world's leading expert on human-animal handling, and her approach ultimately transformed the meat industry. Hope she's not vegan and she's like, I just made processing meat too easy. Like neurotypical people, those on the autism spectrum can have various interests, abilities, and skills. The goal is to match their interests and talents to the best job fit for them, and this can span multiple types of job roles and industry. Yeah, like one of the things I sometimes like to tinker. It kind of depends like how interested I am. So like that's why I got like super into wanting to fix stuff in the grooming salons. Like I would fix other girls' clippers. I would take them apart, put them back together with the new parts. I would fix a lot of like the dryer, like the little basic stuff actually. But like, yeah. So I expanded my role. I mean, I probably could like start a small business of like, because there's so many groomers in the area, of like collecting clippers and just like maintenance, because most of the time like they get tossed out and it's just simple like undoing the screws, cracking them open, because you can buy the replacement part. Oh my god, I'm good. Sidetracked it. Some aspects of autism that can lend themselves to a workplace are an incredible level of concentration, which is why I'm actually good at my job now. It's because of like just put in the headphones and I just zone in and I just do the dog. Not only do people with ASD have an increased capacity for extended focus, but they also tend to have an ability to hyper-focus on areas of interest. Able to memorize factual knowledge and reference it easily. A study in the Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews that showed a single brain cell could compensate for numerous and diverse deficits in autism. This brain system is called a declarative memory, a type of long-term memory that involves conscious recollection of particular facts and events. As a result, those on the spectrum are often approach situations logically, such as help from a business standpoint. Attention to detail or visual thinkers, those on the spectrum can quickly spot things others may miss, ensure accuracy, and excel at intricate work. As mentioned above, that was in the case of Temple Grandin. It kind of sounds like my wife with her work. Yeah, anyway. Technical abilities for every detail-oriented individual's technical skills often come quickly. Comfort with animals. Yeah. Since some of the spectrum may not be as verbal or don't make eye contact, they can particularly bond with animals where social components are removed. I wonder how many autistic individuals could also do grooming. I mean, it would be a sensory nightmare for most. I mean, okay, these facets can be tremendous and uncommon resource. When your company understands autism, it can not only widen the talent pool you can also choose from, but it will open up new possibilities for your business. Benefit working with those on the autism spectrum. Yeah, I think there was... No, I guess it's not in this article. I forgot. Okay, right now, there's a renewed commitment to diversity and inclusion programs regarding hiring. These efforts should also include neurodivergent and autistic individuals. God, I hope I'm not reading too fast, because I actually really like this article. Okay, hiring those on the spectrum demonstrates your genuine commitment to diversity and displays a profound acceptance level for all. Kamaro, however, is quick to point out when you tell managers to hit quotas without changing the culture to one that is inclusive, or just the headlines and just to check a box, you don't get real results. And in the long run, this backfires. Any gains are merely a temporary placebo effect. Yeah. Autistic workers can be better at certain types of work, and three attributes largely derive this. Firstly, they are great at processing discipline, thereby consistently completing every step in the process. So, like a repetitive system. I mean, factory work or yeah, like a factory line. It's like being able to do the same processes, especially if they're interested in it. It'd be like boom, just like humanoid machines. I don't know. That's not the best way to put it. Second, they have an amazing attention to detail and can fully engage in specifics of data and processes. Lastly, they are consistently pursuing mastery. Yeah, like, yeah. Which means they have a passion for in-depth learning and understanding. Further to these attributes, people with autism work exceptionally well in partnership with automation and AI. Yeah, we're looking to like make it as efficient. I mean, that's kind of like how I almost view my dog grooming, like because you are in such a time crunch, like you're trying to make the dog look cute and fun, and not everyone does that. So it's like when it's not that kind of cut, like you're looking to do it as fast and as safe as possible. And so like that's probably why I'm a really fast groomer, is because it's like there's no wasted movement. I guess the best way to put it. Okay, back to the article. There are also proven benefits as well. An in-depth analysis by Josh Burson tracked the business performance of 450 companies alongside 128 talent management. The study proved that companies with great diversity outperformed their peers by a significant margin. 2.3 times higher cash flow per employee, 1.8 times more likely to be change ready and be innovative leaders in their market, and 3.8 times more likely to be able to coach people to improve performance. Those metrics I am very curious. I wish I had more in depth of what they actually meant. Okay, more neurodivergent workers bring a diversity of thought, said Camaro. Proven organizations committed to diversity generate higher profits. That is why we create the Neurodiversity Index to prove that companies with higher autistic workers benefit with higher profits. Plus, if you have a talent shortage and want to be a more profitable company, you need to hire neurodivergent workers. It's that simple. Like, this is the perfect economy for that right now. Okay. Harvard Business Review shared a study that showed businesses that employ people with autism and intellectual or developmental differences would see a positive impact. This can include increased morale, improved products and services, higher productivity, and ultimately increased bottom lines. In addition, several studies showed that autistic consultants find, on average, 10% more bugs than their non-autistic colleagues when checking software codes for error. I feel like I bring up the stereotypical coder way too much in this kind of like why it's there. Okay, why you should consider hiring autistic individuals. The main point, people, we're here. Companies should consider hiring more diverse employees because they have to. Companies will need to demonstrate they have a culture of inclusion to be able to attract and retain the best employees and not fall behind their competitors who are doing so. I mean, the whole point why they say they have to is because like more and more people are being diagnosed with autism, and they are out there and they are available in the workforce. And if you are short, they have like if you can find a way to get to harness that talent, it's a win-win. Secondly, having more diverse workforce increases the company's ability to innovate and either provide better products to the communities they serve or open up the ability to target new segments. Overall, Mr. Friedman believes that autistic workers are an untapped talent pool. Hell yeah. Well, eager to work with and systematically exclude from the workplace. Yet, employing their dynamic skill set will immediately impact the individual, the business, and our society at large. Thank you, Forbes, for that article, and Jennifer J. Palumbo. Might find you on Twitter. And the main article. This one I thought was super fascinating, especially when you consider the housing market. I barely follow it. I'm not that smart when it comes to that. So take what I think of that with a grain of salt. But this article is awesome. Okay. Specialist shared ownership scheme. Not my favorite word, but you'll get the point. Makes buying a home possible for a man with Asperger's. Okay. Ross Payne, who was 29, diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, searched for over 2 years for a home he could begin independent living. With his mom, Julie, he found L&Q's share ownership scheme at Darwin Green in Cambridge, which provides stability, security, and meets Ross's disability needs. He uses the government home ownership for a long-term disabled scheme hold, which gives disabled people the chance to become shared ownership homeowners. And this is the interesting part because I'm very curious how this would apply here in the States. They buy an initial share worth between 10 and 70% of the full market value via a combined deposit and mortgage while paying rent to a housing association on the portion of the property they don't own, and can buy further shares in the future. However, hold differs from standard shared ownership in that if someone with long-term disability can't find a suitable part buy, part rent home, they can buy a property on the open market but on a shared ownership basis. The monthly mortgage is usually covered by a support for mortgage interest SMI loan, repaid from equity when the home is eventually sold, topped up with other benefits. For applicants to meet these payments, they need to be on either high to middle rate disability living allowance or higher rate personal independence payment. Hold enables Ross to buy 25% of a 2-bedroom house at L&Q at Darwin Green, near his family home. It is important that Ross was able to stay close to home and close to us and live in the area he grew up in, says Julie. Prices in Cambridge are horrendously expensive. The entirety of U.S., especially here in Southern California, and we are struggling to find homes within the budget close to the services he relies on. Well, we spent a long time thinking a resale home was the only option until we heard about shared ownership with L&Q. As soon as the properties were released, we registered our interest and made an appointment to see the show home, and we're very impressed. The location offered a fantastic opportunity for Ross to find his new home in an area he already knew, with easy links to Cambridge. Okay, so this is kind of the breakdown, so let's get into it. So, Hold enabled Ross to buy 25% of a 2-bedroom house. Oh wait, did I just go back too far? Oh my gosh, whoops. Ross secured a 25% mortgage with assistance from My Safe Home, the UK's leading provider of support for people with disabilities who want to buy a place of their own. It helps with financial matters such as assessing eligibility, mortgage applications, and benefit claims. The only thing is, like, with the United States, it's like there's already so much. Like, you think about the old predatory lending that caused the 2008 crash, and there's already predatory lending with college loans. It's like you just hope there's none of that, you know? Okay, Ross and Julie created a file for his documents as a reference point for him to manage his new home. In the folder, we planned out everything week by week, including the things I needed when I moved in, from cutlery to furniture, explains Ross. And I'm really enjoying the responsibilities which come with having your own home. My new kitchen is everything I need to cook my own meals. The second bedroom is my study space. I have my desk and computer in there, and the room is for my drawing and art equipment. And the lovely little garden is great for my cat, Freya. The house even came with a shed where I store garden equipment and my bike, and I can cycle and get to the bus to the clubs I go to each week. Julie adds, it was really important that we found Ross a home where he felt safe and comfortable, which is exactly what L&Q at Darwin Green provided. The homes are in a cul-de-sac and the neighbors are lovely, so there is really a nice community feel. Ross has taken the whole process in stride, managing his new home, cooking his meals, looking after his cat, and now finally enjoying an independent life. So this is kind of the breakdown math-wise. So, okay, full market price of home, $400,000. 25% share needs of the house. He owns 25% of the house, 100,000. Okay, euros or pounds. We gotta say pounds because it's UK. So he needed a deposit, about just over 20,000. So his mortgage or his loan, $200. Rent. So, kind of the whole point. So he's still paying about £900 essentially a month, but and then the extra. So yeah. So I mean, so essentially, like, if I'm understanding, it's like the company is kind of buy the equity, and essentially he's renting. So it's like that rent also, because they're probably getting a fantastic deal on the loan by owning the house because they're building equity in the home, and so you know, I think this would be fantastic. So if you're in the UK, you happen to be listening to this, look into this program, the L&Q. So I mean, I thought this was a fantastic article. So okay, a lot of great news. I love this one. This was a great video. So, all right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.